I am transformed.
Saint Maud. Saint Maud is about a religious nurse who becomes dangerously obsessed with saving the soul of a dying patient. Written and directed by Rose Glass, starring Morfydd as Maud, Jennifer Ehle as Amanda, and Lily Knight as Joy. Ladies and gentlemen, before we dive into this review, please make sure you're subscribed with your bell notifications turned on. This is obviously the spooky month of October, and I'll be reviewing a whole bunch of horror movies on this channel. So make sure you're subscribed, get involved in the comment section because there's going to be a lot of content coming your way. And now, Saint Maud. This is a movie that I am extremely excited to talk to you today, to talk about this movie. And I can say this with confidence. Saint Maud is a psychological horror tour de force. It is one of my favourite movies I have seen this year, and it is also one of my favourite horrors that I have seen in recent memory. If you are a fan of high concept horrors such as Midsommar, Hereditary, The Lighthouse, then this is straight up your avenue. This is the movie for you. And even if you're not a fan of that genre of cinema, and you go into watching this movie can make you a certified fan of it. It is that good. And just to talk, and when we're now talking about Rose Glass, this is her first directorial debut, her first ever feature movie that she's created. And the skills and the fundamental attributes that she is using within her movie are skills that you would think that would come from a seasoned filmmaker that has been making movies for maybe over a decade. And she's put all of this skill set into her first ever movie. It is honestly, seriously impressive, and it is beyond sublime what she's created in this movie. There are so many things that I want to talk, and I can't even talk about spoilers because I want to give just a brief emphasis about this movie. But from the beginning of this movie, you get this crescendo of suspense that is linked to Rose Glass, to Maud's first person ideology. You get this crescendo of suspense, and then after that period, going into the first act, the movie is deafeningly silent, and it makes you think, why is the movie like this? You know, why is the movie so silent? But what she's doing, Rose Glass as a filmmaker, is that she's getting under your skin, making you think that everything is as harmonious as the perspective of Maud is seeing in the way that she views religion. And you kind of get this somber kind of thing. You think to yourself, where is this really going? And then we start to see the character development of Maud. And with this horror movie, you know that at some point within this movie, things are going to go tits up and things are going to go wrong. But as you're watching it, you'll think to yourself, you know, is Saint Maud really that bad? But this is where the movie gets you. It's got this way of hypnotically putting you underneath its spell, and you kind of go along with the flow, and you're like, oh yeah, I can reason with her, I can go on this journey. And then, man, there are some rude awakenings in this movie that completely scare the living shit out of you in this movie. And And, you know, I think that Morfydd Clark done a great job of playing this introvert, silent person that has very extroverted ideas. And the movie plays on the theme of religion and what happens when somebody tampers with the idea of religion. It does start to become dangerous, because then you're not looking from a religious standpoint, you're looking at it from a cultist idea. Once you start changing things to your own personal preference as to how it's all meant to supposedly work, or, I mean, I'm not a religion expert, but once you start tampering with that idea, that then you really start to see without the movie and the chain of events, they start to really not go the way it's meant to go, the way it's meant to go. But I think that Amanda, played by Jennifer Ehle, she was also great in the movie as well. Lily Knight, who plays the character of Joy, she's in the perspective that, from the audience as to, you know, why is Maud like this, and so on and so forth. And the character development of Maud, you know, there's 3 times where you know, 2 times you really like her, and 3 times you really hate her. And I think a big part of doing a great movie is not only having a 3-dimensional character, which Maud is, but by having the character having to utilize these different decisions that she needs to make throughout the movie. And that was all done really well. The soundtrack was eerie, atmospheric. It almost like as if the sound was like you were inside the mind of Maud, and you get like all these kind of electronic guitar sounds and kind of syncing with this gospel harmony that's very eerie, and it's all kind of meshed together, and it really added to the tone of Saint Maud. And I'll say this as well, right? This is a movie, like I said, that is psychological, right? And that is psychological. And I did start to think to myself, there could be an element with this movie that I could have a discrepancy with, and it was I wanted maybe a little bit more to do with a little bit more information given to me into the first person ideology with Saint Maud. But when I started to have these conversations with my friend, you know, and, you know, the reasoning as to why she is the way that she is, we started looking very deeply rooted into psychology, because me and my friend, we know a few things about psychology and the mind. And when you get an initial taste in the beginning of the movie, and then you get another kind of flashback sequence that happens. And once we connected the dots together, we thought that it could be a moment in the movie where it's not really working for us. But when we start to piece together what the movie was trying to tell us and the information it's trying to relate to its audience, we were like, that is actually genius. I really want to tell you what it is, but I can't. And also, like I said, this movie is definitely silent in the first act. And I'll tell you this, there are 2 jump scares, but I've never seen jump scares being used to great effect like in this movie. The first jump scare that happened in this film, I haven't shit my friggin' pants so hard since I watched the friggin' stupid video of the white car and fucking this ghoul just jumps out of anywhere. You know the one I'm talking about. It's for some kind of energy drink or some bullshit like that. But this jump scare, it wasn't like it was just a jump scare. You just went, oh! It was kind of the jump scare where I got the jump scare and I got goosebumps all over my body, because again, everything plays into the psychological elements of this movie. You know, and the second one is just as brilliant. And because I'm a complete arsehole, I'm not going to tell you at what point these jump scares come. I'm just going to leave you break dancing in your seat like I was when I was watching the movie for the first time. But man, I gotta say, I'm seriously impressed by Rose Glass for her first movie. I understand that she's made some short films beforehand, and I can only say that the future is going to be very bright for her. And I would give this movie a 10 out of 10. Spiritually, it's a 10 out of 10 movie, but for the sakes of the channel, I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because I still genuinely believe that Rose Glass has a very, very long career ahead of her, and she's done a fantastic job. And I just want to just round up this video by saying that I feel like, separate from the review, now talking about cinemas in general, there is a lot of misconception happening at the moment, especially here in the UK, especially with cinemas closing. I can tell you this, that you might know this, but Cineworld, they've taken the choice to close down all of their branches within the UK. But Odeon at this current moment in time, they've closed 30 out of the 120 cinemas are in the country. So at this current moment in time, for me doing this review, if you're from the UK, you can go to an Odeon that might be near to you, or maybe the Odeon that you were going to might be closed. But Odeon in general, they've closed 30 of their cinemas, but you can still go to another, however, 80 or 90 of them that are still out there. And if my math is incorrect in that moment, then it is what it is. And also View have not taken the opportunity. They haven't closed their cinemas either. And if you're from London, you can still go to the Finchley O2. You can still go to North Finchley View as well. And at this current moment in time, for View, I understand that the tickets are on a discount, so they're cheaper than what they would, obviously, without COVID, it'd be however much money they were. So at the moment, their tickets are like £6. So I just thought I'd just relay to you a little bit of knowledge that I know that's going on. So at this current moment in time, it's only Cineworld that has closed down their branches here in the UK. But guys, make sure you stay tuned on the channel. I'm currently one episode away from completing not Nurse Ratched, but Ratched, the Netflix original series. The Hornhill Bly Manor, I will be having a review here on the channel, and a whole load of The Boys content, as well as other scary movies that I'll be reviewing for the channel. So make sure you subscribe, bell notifications, let me know your comments down below. Have you seen Saint Maud? Have you not? And also, after this weekend, I'm going to do a Saint Maud Explained video, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about, and I really do think that this movie is going to age like fine wine. It's going to become a cult classic as well. So make sure you're tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed for that. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.